Hi, my name's Ryan from Turtle Bay Exploration Park. Thanks for joining us. Did you know that beavers have special membranes that cover their eyes just like goggles? Learn this and more about one of our most well-known animal ambassadors, Timber the beaver. Test the forces of gravity and buoyancy in a watery science experiment, see beautiful Japanese artwork, and check out a flower you may want in your garden, all on this episode of Turtle Bay TV. Welcome to Turtle Bay TV, your personal virtual experience of everything Turtle Bay Exploration Park has to offer, including education, animals, horticulture, exhibitions, and more. Only at Turtle Bay.
Hi, my name is Lorinda and I'm an educator here at Turtle Bay Exploration Park. And today we're going to do an activity that involves some physics. Materials that you might need are tinfoil, like this, scissors to cut your tinfoil, a tub or a large bowl filled with water, some pennies, and a towel. So the first thing you want to do is take a piece of tinfoil and construct a tinfoil boat. So you can fold up the sides any way you would like to create a little boat. I made a couple examples here. And then you're going to place your boat in the water. Now, when your boat is sitting in the water like this, there's a force that's pushing up on your boat, and that's called buoyancy. So buoyancy allows your boat to float in the water. Now, there's another force that I'm sure you're all familiar with called gravity, and gravity is what holds us down to Earth, so it's always pulling down. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding pennies to our tinfoil boat to see how many pennies our boat can hold before it sinks. So we want to see how long buoyancy will outweigh gravity. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's starting to go down. 33, 34, 35, 36. Oh, 36 pennies. So all of the weight of the pennies was pulling the boat down, outweighing buoyancy in this case. So what you can do, make sure you dry off your pennies. The water will create extra weight, and you wouldn't want that. And you can try a different shaped boat to see if the number of pennies is the same or different. Something else you might consider when you're adding pennies to the boat is placing them gently inside the boat or spacing them out. Rather than putting them all in one pile, you might want to spread the weight, so spread how much gravity is being placed on the boat. So you can think of other ways, think of other variables that might change your experiment. You can try to do 2 boats at once or even more than that. Try different shapes or try a boat with a really low lip and see what happens.
Hi, this is Julia, Curator of Collections and Exhibits here at Turtle Bay Exploration Park, and today we're going behind the scenes in the vault. So Amanda, today you wanted to share some of the discoveries that you made within the collection?
Yes, absolutely. Turtle Bay has a really great, significant collection of Japanese art prints that are made by world-renowned Japanese printmakers. So Japanese woodcuts can be kind of roughly categorized into 3 art movements. They are ukiyo-e, shinhanga, and sosaku-hanga. So I selected a few key pieces from our collection that illustrate those particular art movements. The first art movement, ukiyo-e, was particularly popular from the 17th to the 19th century. This piece is made by Hokusai. You may recognize his name because his print, The Great Wave, is considered one of the most iconic pieces of Japanese printmaking. Ukiyo-e translates to pictures of the floating world. And during this time, from the 17th to the 19th century, artists were focused on the leisure activities and literature and folklore during that time period. So a lot of the subjects of their prints were characters from literature and folklore, like geisha, samurai, kabuki actors, and there were also a lot of landscapes. Susaku Hanga translates to creative prints. This was a divergence from the ukiyo-e method of printmaking. In the 17th and 19th centuries, the printmaking process was collaborative, and you would have a separate individual performing each part of the process. You would have a print designer, a woodblock cutter, a printmaker, and a publisher. In the Susaku Hongo movement, the artist was in control of every aspect of the printmaking process. This print is titled Nikko, and it was made by Toshi Yoshida. So this piece is an example of Shin Hanga, and Shin Hanga was more of a revitalization of the ukiyo collaborative method and tradition. They chose to incorporate the traditional subjects such as landscapes. 70% of Shin Hanga prints are landscapes. One of the most exciting things that happened while I was researching this exhibition was coming across this piece in our collection with no artist data. Luckily, up until this point, I had learned quite a lot about Japanese prints and printmaking. I discovered that this piece was made by Hasui Kawase, and it is entitled Hirin Temple Nobita-me, and it was made in 1952.
That is fantastic detective work. I think what people don't realize is that the curators don't always know everything about what's in the collection. And one of the most amazing and fun things in our journey doing any exhibition is actually getting to dive deeper and being able to identify objects. So it's this kind of research that we continue doing, and it's one of the reasons we love our jobs here at Turtle Bay, being able to create things for people like you.
Hi everybody, I'm Sharon Clay, the curator of animal programs here at Turtle Bay Exploration Park. And today I am going to invite you to do a behind the scenes tour with me. Our behind the scenes tour is with Timber, our beaver. And he lives in the aquarium. This is the top of the aquarium area, an area that most people don't get to go to unless, again, you purchase a behind the scenes tour. So we're gonna head up there and we're gonna go right through what you would get to do if you come and do one of these. So while we're hanging out with Timber on our laps, giving him his favorite treats, we talk a little bit about him and you get to see some of the really special features about beavers. Beavers are completely designed for life in the water. So let's look at some of those features today. First of all, he just came out of the water, and yet you can see he's got wet fur on the outside, but if we lift it up, he is completely dry underneath. Now, this waterproofing is an oil gland that he has, and he gets that oil and he puts it all over his fur to keep him nice and dry. So he can spend hours in the water without ever getting wet down to the core of his body. Other things that are good for a beaver for life in the water are his ears. So his ears are waterproof. They're completely closed off. They're sealed so that you actually, if you were a beaver, wouldn't get any water in there. His nostrils are closed off as well. When he gets to go in the water, he closes those up, just like you plug in your nose when you jump in the water. He's got that built in. And his eyes. Well, he has got a special piece of flap that goes over his eyes, a membrane over his eyes, and it's like wearing goggles underwater. So he has all of these things built in on his own. A beaver's tail is very well known. It's the characteristic that everybody recognizes that is a beaver because of that incredible tail of theirs. The tail is used for two purposes. One, it's like a rudder, built-in rudder right there. We all know that the texture of a beaver's tail is very unique. This texture actually feels a lot like a basketball, and the texture allows them to slap the water. It makes a lot of noise. That's what the texturing does. Now, slapping the water helps a beaver because it scares away predators. It's also so loud that it tells other beavers that there's danger nearby. You may notice that Timber is holding his biscuit really well in his feet. Well, that's because they need to have dexterous front feet to be able to hold and manipulate pieces of wood. They are quite the architects when they're making their lodge and when they're building a dam. Those front feet allow for that. When they use their chisel-like teeth to cut down a tree, they then drag it. They're extremely strong. Pull it into the water and have to swim with it. Sometimes they have to go underwater as they're pulling it. So a beaver is able to take their lips, push them in behind their teeth, and that actually keeps the water out from getting down their throat. Beavers are extremely important to the environment. By building dams, they create habitat for other animals. So even though we don't always like where the water is going, it's very important for the environment to have these natural architects.
Hi, my name is Lisa Endicott. I'm the horticulture manager here at Turtle Bay. We're in the botanical gardens right in front of the pollinator gardens. This is a vining rose. This is Lady Banks rose. Lady Banks comes in two colors, yellow and white. And so this is Rosa Banksii aureum for yellow. It is a fairly thornless rose, an evergreen rose, which is fabulous for our area. You want to have a large evergreen shrub that blooms, this is a really good choice. Blooms in the spring, so when it's done blooming is when you cut it back. And this is a rule of thumb for most plants, although I hesitate because rules of thumbs are tricky, but after this is done blooming is when you prune this back if you need to. So we love these low maintenance, gorgeous plants.
Thank you for joining us. Turtle Bay is a nonprofit organization supported by generous viewers like you. Please visit turtlebay.org/donate to support all our wonderful programs that help you explore our world. Until next time on Turtle Bay TV.